The illusion of your safety is built on a global pipeline of state violence, and if you look beneath the surface of our domestic policing, you'll find a transnational architecture of control, designed to treat civilians not as protected citizens, but as occupied populations. We see how our supposed ally, Israel, treats every other country, and we see the genocides, but most people don't know that every year, hundreds of high-ranking officials from a massive apparatus of U.S. agencies, including the FBI, ICE, Customs and Border Protection, and police forces from major cities like New York, Atlanta, and Washington, D.C., travel to Israel to train. Through networks like JINSA's Law Enforcement Exchange Program, our local police departments are actively training with the IDF and Israeli security forces, and they aren't learning community safety, but they're importing a wartime doctrine. The tactics being normalized and brought back to our streets are fundamentally corrupt and inhumane, as this exchange focuses heavily on mass surveillance, aggressive crowd control, and racial profiling. Evidence from global bodies like Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch continuously documents how these exact methods rely on unlawful lethal force, the suppression of peaceful dissent, and systematic rights violations against marginalized groups. And when U.S. agencies train under a counterterrorism framework refined in an ongoing occupation, the line between military combatant and domestic police officer completely evaporates. This training indoctrinates our local law enforcement to view the neighborhoods they patrol through an adversarial lens, treating the public as an enemy to be contained rather than a community to serve. And this cross-border policing nexus is a clear execution of how the wealthy Zionist regime exports its mechanisms of state control, infiltrating and shaping the enforcement arms of foreign nations. By institutionalizing these training programs, they align international police forces with their own geopolitical agendas and repressive methodologies. When we see the violent dispersal of protests, attacks against protesters, or the deployment of battlefield-level surveillance on domestic soil, we're seeing the direct results of this global alignment. But true accountability demands that we look beyond national borders and dismantle these parallel systems of state power that sustain each other. We must refuse to accept a heavily militarized police force that views human rights as an obstacle to control, and it's time to reject this transnational infrastructure of subjugation. We do not forgive, we do not forget. Anonymously Enlightening out.